Sleep. Your phone just lit up with another text from your soon-to-be ex, and your chest is so tight you can barely breathe. You're not crazy. You're not weak. You're in the wave. So today's guest is a licensed attorney with over 20 years of experience, and when her divorce happened, she felt completely lost. So she built the first on-demand divorce support app in the world so that no one would have to face that 2 a.m. moment alone. If you have ever laid awake at night wondering how you're going to survive this episode is your playbook. Welcome back. Welcome to Divorcing Strong, the podcast that pulls no punches when it comes to divorce. I'm Becky Sampson, better known as Bulldog Becky Brockovich. And I'm here to give you the straight talk, the strategies, and the subpoena secrets you won't hear anywhere else. With expert guests and proven advice, you'll learn your rights, your options, and gain your power that encourages a fair and equitable outcome. Divorce doesn't have to break you. It can build you. Let's get to it. Oh my goodness. Can you believe we're back for another episode of the Divorcing Strong podcast? We're on episode 60 something now. It's crazy. I was just talking to our guest before the show that, it is a lot of work putting on a podcast. And so I commend anybody out there that's putting together a podcast, making an effort to get out there, to get the information, the resources to people who need it. And that is definitely what drives my passion is my own personal experience through divorce and not knowing what the heck I was doing. So I am very diligent about making sure I bring people onto this podcast that are going to help you navigate through that. And today we're going to be talking about an app that you can use. I'm actually really curious to find out how it works as well. So if you have kids, if you're dealing with high conflict, if you're feeling a lot of stress, if you're wanting to know what your solutions and what your options are out there, then please stay tuned. Okay. Well, today on Divorcing Strong, my guest is Tamara. Yes, Tamara Arnold. She is a life transition attorney, certified mediator, and divorce coach, and the founder of True Resolutions, a firm built on the belief that families deserve a more empathetic, effective, heart-centered, and find a legal support, especially the kind of legal support, especially during divorce and high-stress conflict. She began her career in high-stakes litigation at large global law firms and later chose a different path, focusing on mediation, divorce and family transition consulting, and life and legacy planning, which I love that. That was something that you're going to plan the rest of your life. Let's plan it correctly. So this was all designed to help families protect what matters most, their relationships, assets, and future peace. Tamara also created the Divorce Wave app on a demand support tool for people navigating divorce. And she's the author of Divorce Day 1. Welcome to the show. I botched your name.
It's okay. Nobody gets it right. Thank you, Becky. I'm happy to be here.
Tamara. She said, think of mascara. I'm like, oh, okay. So there you go. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And sorry, I botched up the name.
No problem.
Well, hey, I wanted to just kind of first, as I always like to start this podcast, I love to hear the backstory of what got you into being a lawyer, first of all. And then second of all, what keeps you in this space or in the divorce space? Did you start in the divorce space or did you fall into it and decide to stay in it? And what makes you passionate about what you do?
Okay. What got me into being a lawyer? That started pretty early on when I was a kid. I was very precocious, and I think people said, oh, she's going to be a lawyer one day, and it just kind of stuck. So that happened all throughout college. I just stayed on track. And when I graduated from law school, I had a lot of student loans to pay off. So I did what a lot of us do. And I went into private practice, working for the biggest firms that I could get hired in. So I worked for 2 big global law firms. That was not the path to happiness, working 80 hours a week. And so I realized pretty quickly that I didn't want to be on the partnership track. So I downshifted into mediation, and I started my own boutique mediation practice. And that felt so much better because instead of litigating cases for 5 years for big companies, now I was helping people resolve their cases in a day. And I was able to resolve over 85% of my cases in a single day. And that felt like a much better use of my law degree.
Yes.
And then when I had kids, we moved to the country. My marital problems followed me to the country, and I ended up getting divorced in the beginning of COVID. And that was really what set me on a path of just completely changing my career, because I realized during my divorce that I was so out of place. I had no idea what to do. And I was a lawyer. And so if I was a lawyer and I couldn't get through this on my own without support, then I knew that there was a big problem in the system. And so
just so you know, that is very common. Every time, I mean, I interview a lot of attorneys and they all say the same. I had one lady that had 8 kids and she was going through law school, and then she got hit with divorce and she's like, I have no idea what to do. Like,
right.
Yeah, they don't teach
no
you.
idea what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's very, very common. So you're not alone in that.
So thankfully, I didn't really find the right support, but I was able to muscle through it. And there were so many things in hindsight that I would have done differently had I known better. And so after I finally got through my divorce and worked really hard on co-parenting with now my ex and working to rebuild my life again now as a single mother, I wanted to make that process better for everybody else. And so I reinvigorated my mediation, and this time focusing not on litigation, but on helping families going through what I call family restructuring, or creating their family 2.0. And I don't think of it as a divorce. I think of it more like restructuring a family. And so that's how I approach it.
Yeah, that's a big mind shift, right? You're not divorcing, but you're recreating something new. And so I love that. Is that something that you bring up to them, or do they come with that kind of mindset?
I do. Well, I work both as a mediator and also as what I call a divorce consultant, which is a little bit more than coaching, because I'm a licensed attorney. So I bring more of the strategy than your typical coach that might be focusing more on emotional. So I am more of a divorce consultant, but I don't do litigation. And the reason is because I want to help families through it. And I feel like litigation in most cases does a huge disservice to the people that are entering the divorce process, because it's just made to fight, and the lawyers get paid to fight. And so I really want to educate people to say that's not necessarily where you want to start. You want to start from the mindset of, okay, this is a restructuring. This is a dissolution to end a partnership. It's a business negotiation, and you need to protect your interests, but you don't necessarily need to fight. And so hiring that bulldog attorney is, for most people, is not going to be the best approach.
And I have to say, the other day, my mom said to me, she goes, Becky, bulldog seems like really aggressive. And and you are aggressive. However, you're assertive and you do it with a soft heart. So she's like, I'm not sure, like, bulldog's the good word. But,
well, yeah, I love it as your nickname. And it doesn't mean that we back down. When I'm representing my clients as a consultant, we don't back down. We talk about strategy. We talk about protecting their interests. We talk about setting very firm boundaries, but we don't fight. We don't engage in the back and forth, because that just causes more expense, more stress, more time, more money, everything.
Yeah. And I kind of adopted recently, because I don't know, it just doesn't feel right to say fight, although it feels that way a lot of times, especially when you're in 2 o'clock in the morning, you're like, but it's the advocate. That's a totally different energy. And that's what I hear you saying is that, look, we're going to advocate for you, which means we're going to stand up for you. We're going to look at what your rights are. Let's do the best that we can to protect all people involved, including the children and the spouse, soon to be ex. That's a totally different approach. So when people come to you and now, are you nationwide with that type of coaching, or are you just California?
I try to keep it to California
Okay.
because I offer a few different services. In mediation, I only stick to California because that's where I'm licensed and I can be
Mhm,
most helpful in California. With straight coaching, I can do it anywhere because it's
mhm,
not offering legal advice, but I
mhm,
do prefer to stick with California residents because I like to get in on the strategy. I like to
mhm.
be sort of um, I'm not working as their attorney. I'm not filing the documents for them.
Right.
I'm not creating those documents for them, but I am helping them to be more efficient with their attorneys if they need to hire an attorney, with their divorce professionals. And it's more of a CEO kind of role. I'm helping my
Mm,
clients be the CEO of their own divorce. And whatever that entails, whether that's emotional management, whether that's co-parenting regulation and strategy, whether that's making sure that their kids don't hate them every day for what this is doing to their family. Wherever I'm needed, I try to
mhm.
provide as many services as I can. And so I'm informed by all kinds of different things that I've learned along the way, whether that's my legal career, whether that's my mediation career and bringing in negotiation tactics, whether that's some of the more, for lack of a better term, woo-woo things that I've done, the spirituality side,
Right.
making sure that you get your head in the game, that you have the right mindset. I try to throw in whatever I can because divorce it's a full life reset and it takes your entire energy, focus. It takes up a big portion of your life for a good 6 to 12 months. And so it has to be the priority. And I try to give my clients as many tools as they can to get through it.
Yeah, so speaking of which, I one of the tools that you have is an app. Talk about that and how that came to be and how people use that.
Yes. So Divorce Wave was kind of born from my own desire to have a wiser voice in my head. When
Mm,
I was going through my own divorce, the resentment was really what was keeping me stuck.
mm,
It was this endless loop in my head of I'm worth more, I deserve more, this isn't what I signed up for, this isn't what I want, my life is in a shambles, what am I going to do? My community is talking behind my back. That endless loop, that is the real problem. That is
mhm,
the place where I believe most people need to start, because you
mhm.
can't develop a strategy. You can't advocate. You can't be your best self. You can't create those boundaries if you have that endless loop in your head driving the bus. And so Divorce Wave was my mission to give people a better voice in their head. So how it works is there's really two parts to the app. There's the learning app, which I call Surf Lessons. It teaches you how to surf your own divorce wave. So finding
Mm,
the right resources, asking the right questions of divorce attorneys and divorce professionals, how you enter mediation, all of that knowledge and educational stuff, that's on the app. But what's
mm,
different about Divorce Wave are what I call the audio waves. And those are guided, mindfulness based experiences
mm,
that are very specific to what might come up for you during your divorce. So let's say, for example, you're awake at 2 a.m. and those resentful thoughts are swirling in your head. And you want to be disconnected from this person, but somehow that attachment is still there. You
mhm.
married this person, you love this person, and that attachment doesn't go away right away. Just because you say you want the marriage to end, or just because they want the marriage to end, that attachment is still there. And it's what wakes us up at night. So on the app, you will find all kinds of content. The audio waves are anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes,
Mm,
and they're very specific. So there's a piece of content on there for you no matter what you're experiencing, whether it's that 2 a.m. wake up and you really need to figure out a way to detach from your spouse. There's an audio wave on there that walks you through the emotions that you might be feeling. It validates those emotions, and then it guides you through an experience to energetically detach from your spouse. There's
So
another. Go
so
ahead.
really it's a now are the waves, are you calling the waves like meditations? Is that what it is? So
I
you
don't
choose your
call
meditation.
them, they are similar to meditations. They're
Yeah.
more mindfulness based. I don't call them meditations because
Mhm,
it's not strictly meditation. You're not
mhm.
sitting there in silence trying to empty all the thoughts from your
Right.
head. It's really a guided experience. And I want it to be more approachable. Anybody can do this. If you've never had
Mhm.
meditation experience before, if you've never done mindfulness based exercises before, all you need to do is pop in your earbuds, choose a wave that looks like it's addressing the situation that you're in, whether you're about to tell your children that you're getting a divorce, whether you're about to tell your ex-spouse that you want a divorce, whether your ex just told you they've got a new partner, there is a wave to guide you through those emotional waves, those energetic waves. And it starts with a little music. They're all to music. So it really lets you dive in deep and do that healing work to process the emotions. Because when you've got those loops in your head, they've got nowhere to go.
I know.
And so this helps you process those emotions and deal with them so you can get back to the business of your life. So you can get back to the business of doing your divorce. And it all happens in 10 to 15 minutes.
So when did you come up with that idea? Like, what a brilliant idea to put it together an app that like at any moment, 24 hours a day, you could go in there and find relief.
It was just sort of something that came to me. I had done things like the Calm app or Headspace. I had done those, and those guided meditations are helpful, but they're not specific to the emotions that you're going through, and nothing addressed divorce. Nothing addressed the anger and the resentment that I was feeling on a daily basis. And so I would put in my earbuds and go for a walk and listen to music. But again, it really wasn't moving the needle. There was nothing that was guiding me through those endless thoughts in my head. And so I created a list of all of the emotions that I was feeling, anger, resentment, and all the situations that I was feeling, the new girlfriend, the community talking about you, your parents, anybody blaming you for the divorce.
Not remarried, right? That's a big one, right?
Right, exactly. How to get through the holidays, the loneliness you feel, the guilt that you feel, the self-sabotage that you're doing, the endless scrolling on the computer or in the middle of the night. All of those things will have a specific wave to address that emotion, to address that experience, and to walk you through what's happening so you can really just process it in real time. And also, as a coach, when I was working with my clients, we were very busy working on the day-to-day of the divorce. We were very busy looking at finances. We were very busy looking at proposals. And so I didn't have a lot of time in those 1-hour weekly sessions to dive deep on the emotional piece. There's nothing out there to help you process those emotions. And so I wanted to create something that helped you to do that and to help you to do it in your own time, at your own pace. There's also guided journaling sessions where you can really process what's coming up from you with your journal. And there's also movement waves. So if you need to get outside and move your body, there's movement waves that really encourage you. Some of them are uplifting. Some of them help you process anger. So there's all kinds of different ways to access that emotional
So I put it up there.
I keep calling it a wave because that's what it is. It's a roller coaster, but it's also an emotional wave. It comes, it takes over your life, and then it goes away. And I wanted to give people a way to address it in real time.
Well, first of all, thank you for doing that, because we just talked about that on the last show earlier today about how feelings are fleeting. They come to us, but many people going through the divorce, they'll express those feelings like anger and resentment and everything. And people around us are always like, don't feel that. You shouldn't feel that. Get over it. And you're like, no. Like you
can't just say, don't feel it. Yeah. You need to feel it and process it.
Exactly. And that is something that's so important to be able to be like, hey, I have a resource that I can, okay, so I'm definitely going to put your app on my website so that people can get to. I think see, I've been a life coach. I've been doing coaching for 16 years. And one of the things and I mentioned this earlier today, but I take the transcripts from these podcasts and I create AI music because I'm such a big one for music and just letting it ground you, you know what I mean? And with different things, because I think it's just a powerful thing. And this is taking it to a whole new level, which is taking the music with a purpose.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's my voice on the waves guiding you through it. But I hired a cinematic music composer to help me create those highs and lows. So each wave really does take you on an emotional journey. And one of my favorite things about the app is that it's designed to be done in real time, because we know when you get that angry text from your ex, you want to send that text back in real time. You want to, drop all the F-bombs that you can. And that we all know that's the wrong thing to do. So if you can take just a little bit of a pause and listen to one of my mini waves, which are just 5 to 7 minutes, and there's one on there called "I just received an angry text from my ex." So you don't respond. You pop in your earbuds. That one is 5 minutes long. And in 5 minutes, I will walk you through that emotion, that rise, that fall. And by the time you take your earbuds out, you will be ready to respond as your kindest, wisest, most compassionate, but also badass self. You will be in your own head and you have your power back. You are no longer hijacked by that angry text. Right. You've got your power back just because you took 5 minutes to pause before you reacted.
Yeah, I was studying peace building, mediation, and conflict resolution while I was going through my really high conflict divorce, and that is something that I knew as a secret weapon of mine, is not to react, however, to respond, and that all came from self-care. Being able to do what I need to do to regulate and get back to my normal, healthy self in order to be able to respond. And it was, it's hard. It's just really hard, especially when you have people around you that are telling you to push through it. And you're just hard. Like, whoa, what?
And it takes practice. And that's why this is designed to help you. This is not just a tool for your divorce. This is a tool for life. If you can learn to pause before you react, and this tool helps you to pause it, you've got 5 minutes to listen to a wave. It walks you through it. So you're doing something instead of reacting. All you need to do is remember to pause and, pull up your phone, stick in your earbuds, and the app will do the work for you. And there's different mini waves. So if you're in one of those resentment loops, there's a wave for that. If you're just feeling sad and horrible because you're going through a breakup and you still feel some love for this person, even though you hate them, you still feel some love, there's a wave for that. And I think because I went through it myself, and because I remember the roller coaster of all of those emotional waves myself, I was really able to get into those emotions more than any AI chatbot can do. It's different than communicating with an AI chatbot. And I know that those tools can be effective as well. I'm not saying they're not, but this kind of support, it really dives deep because of the music, because you're pausing, because you're doing it in real time, because it's very situational to the exact experience that's coming up for you. It really does just give you that reset that you need so you can react in a more empowered way.
So have you taken this app to other attorneys for them to use with their clients?
I have, and it's a little bit difficult for attorneys to recommend this to their clients because the emotional side is not their forte. Yeah. I have started to use it with other divorce coaches, with other mediators, the people that really do focus on the emotional aspects of divorce. They are using it with their clients as well. And in the app, there's also a community part where I can send, if somebody wants to text me through the app, I can send them recommendations. There's also a part where they can reach out to me, and I offer free 20-minute strategy sessions right there in the app that you can book. So if you're going through some kind of crisis, you can book a 20-minute strategy session with me and we'll go through it, especially the emotional pieces. And then I've also brought in experts to, I interviewed a bunch of experts in the app on their various topics. And there's a couple of people that are in the app that I've seen on your commercial, actually. I think Nanette is one of them. So I brought in experts like Susan Guthrie from the Divorce and Beyond podcast, and Melissa Farrig, who has high vibe divorce mediation. And I interviewed them about their expertise so people that are subscribing to the app can learn from them as well. So there's all kinds of resources right there in the app. I really wanted it to be a full service way for people to not only learn about how to get through their divorce and how to be strategic through their divorce, but really how to enter and hold the right mindset. Because to me, divorce is two things. It's strategy and it's mindset. And you really need both. And this app gives you both of those.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You really have to, but if you don't regulate your emotions, you can't do the strategy.
Right.
That's the thing is that, and I love that you do it. And I see though, if there was more attorneys open to it, this would help a lot regulate the people when they're coming to them with the stats, right? I just want the facts, the facts, the facts, right? But they're
Right.
like hearing all these stories and like, I don't need to hear all the stories. I just need the facts so that I can get you divorced and through this process where it
Right.
really could be a tool for them. Especially, I mean, I know there's been people that have been on my podcast that are very much into collaborative and wanting to help their resources. I have one attorney that I may even connect you with, actually, that they have an on-site person that's not extra charge in their firm that deals with the emotional side of it, so that they're just like, I just know that that's such an important thing. In
Yes.
order for them to do their job, they need help and support that way, and I really appreciate that.
Right. Because attorneys recognize that they're not there for emotional
Right.
support, even though the clients might not understand that. When a client hires an attorney, they think that they're just going to take care of everything for them. Like, the divorce is your job. I
No.
just sit here and sign papers. That's, as we both know, that's not the way it goes.
Nope.
And attorneys have to stay in their lane. They can't handle the emotional side. So I would love it. I would get this in the hands of every attorney if I can, to say, this is not your job, but this is definitely the app's job. And I really wanted to make it affordable and approachable for everybody. So it costs less than 1/10 of an hour of what you would pay for an attorney's time for a high-powered attorney. It's right now it's $129.99 a year for a full year. And you
Yeah.
get a free 7-day trial. But with the code, and I'm happy to give you the code, with the code WAVERIDER, it's $50 off. So it's $80 for an entire year. And that will get you through your divorce. You will have all of the emotional
WAVERIDER.
support that you need. WAVERIDER, all in capitals. WAVERIDER, one word, all caps.
Okay, hold on.
And that's a $50 off code for your listeners to try the app. They can try it free for 7 days. And then after that, if they want it for the full year, it's just $79.99.
Let's see if it will show up on my here. And for people that are listening, WAVERIDER. Let's see. Does that? No, that's not it. Right there.
There we
right?
go.
There we go.
That's right. Yeah.
So if you're in the audio, make sure you're doing WAVERIDER. What a great, oh my gosh, I love you. This is like, this really, what I love about the people in this industry is that we do have a heart to give back in a way that is going to help facilitate. I mean, I just don't think anybody wants to go through what we've all been through, and some of it's inevitable. And I remember waking up at 2:00 in the morning, and I've done meditation for years. I've done all kinds of things, but I'd be waking up and I couldn't get back to sleep. And all I was thinking is, Your Honor, Your Honor, Your Honor, because I was representing myself.
Yeah.
And constantly, my brain wouldn't stop. And I think you're
all
right.
consuming.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's when you can stop that by just taking a breather and having somebody guide you through what you're experiencing at that point. And I'm sure you're still adding more and more to it. Is that right?
Yes. I'm constantly adding new content, and I'm open to suggestions. If there's an emotion that I missed, I will create a way for that emotion. But I think even more is that we cannot run from this. If you are going through a divorce, that is a signal that you've got some work to do. Whether you missed some signs in the relationship from the beginning, or whether you contributed to the dynamic that got you here, going through a divorce means you've got some work to do. And you can do it now when you're already feeling low, when you're already trying to rebuild your life. Or if you don't do it now, then chances are pretty good you're going to be in that 66% of people that remarry and get divorced a second time, or the 75% of people that remarry and get divorced a third time. So you either do the work now to figure out how you got here and how you avoid having to go through this ever again, or you're in that statistic, right? So you cannot run. You cannot run from yourself. And this app really helps you address, how did I contribute to this? How did I prevent this? What's my part in this? And how do I create a better life on the other side? So it's not just for getting through the divorce. It really helps you analyze, what was my part in this dynamic, and how do I avoid that and fix it for the future, for my kids, for my family, for my family 2.0.
Yeah, because it really does matter. I think if a lot of people, and it doesn't matter how long you've been divorced. I was divorced 8 years before I got married to my second husband. And I realized that I was still vulnerable And I had done
Yeah.
a lot of work. And then some people are like, I'm not going to get married because I'm not healed yet. Well, I mean, I don't think we're fully healed, but are you willing to do the work in the moment? You know
Right.
what I mean? And being able to look at what's coming up, what's the emotion, what's the feeling, what's it teaching you?
Right.
And that is something that a lot of people, they fear, but I guarantee you, if you don't look at it and face it, you're going to end up repeating it.
Absolutely.
And
And
it's just,
that's what the statistics show us for sure. You will repeat it. And I think it's easy for us to say, do the work, do the work, do the work, right? But this app really does walk you through what doing the work
right.
looks like. It's not easy. It's really not easy because you will be faced with that mirror. And through some of the journaling exercises, it really does take you on that journey to how did I contribute to that dynamic. It asks you some really serious questions, and it's just you and your journal and your earbuds. So there's no use in not being your true authentic self and looking at where you're at and how you got here. So it was easy for me to tell my clients, okay, we've got some work to do, but what does that look like? Well, it looks like putting in your earbuds for 15 minutes a day.
Well, and I also love that you suggest that you write. I mean, I'm in recovery now. I've been in recovery for years for a food addiction, and I every day do a question every day. And so it's just a question, and then it makes me kind of think of like, okay, how am I going to, what am I learning from that, or what's my experience with that, or how do I feel about that? And it really is super powerful. Incredibly powerful to do just a little bit of that work. And I'm glad that you have that as part of your app as well. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. What a great resource. And I'm definitely going to connect you with people in this industry, because we need to be able to get that resource out to as many people as possible. So again, I'm going to put it here on the Divorce Wave app. And then she did give us a promo code of WAVERIDER, all one word, right? Capitalized.
Correct.
And you'll get a discount on that. Oh, love it. Love it. Well, thank you for spending the time today. Like I always say, I like to end the podcast with a question that, and by the way, I don't tell my guests what it is.
I'm ready.
But the question is what does divorcing strong mean to you?
To me, divorcing strong means you have a clear path. You know what your goals are. You know where you're going. Even if you need help to get there, we all need help to get there. You don't have to do this alone, but it means that you have taken a look at where you're at and where you want to go, and you've created that path to get there. And you find the resources along the way to help you. Because if you just say, well, I want to get divorced, and you're not envisioning what your next chapter looks like, you have no guideposts. You don't know what that path looks like. And so having that vision, holding that vision, and making one decision after another that keeps that vision in mind, that is divorcing strong to me.
I love it. I feel like sometimes it's a question that's like that they ask at as they ask when they're like a beauty queen or something. You know what I mean? But I love that you talk about being stronger on the other side, and it's really being clear about who you are, and really honestly providing an app that allows them to do that processing and to really get clear when maybe nobody in their space, it could be the only support that you have that's really healthy, I should say.
Right. And not everybody can afford a coach or a therapist or even an attorney. And so this is an affordable self-help option, and it does help you to create that vision for you and to help you get there.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you so much, Becky.
I think it's a great value. I'd love to be able to be a part of it as well and get in there, because I know that this right here is probably one of the most powerful things, meaning your mind and your heart. Keeping that in the right place will absolutely affect the results of your divorce and your life moving forward. So
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us today. I appreciate it. Yeah. Hold on just one sec. Oh gosh. Thank you guys for joining us on another episode of the Divorcing Strong podcast. Wow. What What a great resource. This is one thing as an entrepreneur my entire life, I love it when people find a problem and then come up with a solution. So make sure you contact her. Go get the app. All her information, her contact information is also in the show notes, not only on the audio, but also the video. Please also share this episode with other people who are going through divorce. Feel free also to download our 100 divorce terms so that you understand how to navigate on the language of divorce through the process. But thank you so much for joining us. And please, we'll be back on next week and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for listening to the Divorcing Strong podcast. This episode is sponsored by Only Subpoenas, where we make subpoenas simple, powerful, and 100% compliant. If you're having a hard time getting the information you need to settle for a fair and equitable divorce, let us help you. Whether you're an attorney or you're navigating divorce on your own, subpoenas can uncover the truth, secure the evidence you need, and level the playing field. To see how we can help, book an appointment by visiting our website at onlysubpoenas.com.